You have any more questions?
I do. Yeah, I just got a couple. I'm curious to ask the women in the room what just give me a sense of how they perceive women's rights in Iraq, if they have evolved at all over the past 20, 30 years, and sort of what the status is.
So what do you think? Have women's rights improved in the last couple of years?
Well, in Kurdistan, yeah.
In Kurdistan, yeah, but if you are asking about Iraq, we could say no. But in Kurdistan, yeah, of course. And like we guess, in parliament in Kurdistan, we have more women than other countries around, even not Iraq, around Iraq too.
But it is the system, the quota system, the tense
so
of
the
that's a problem.
I think
that's the system help us, but for a limited of time, we can use it until like women could work as a man.
No, she means that there is more freedom for women. Yeah, for women in Kurdistan. I mean, if you go out like that in Baghdad, you'd be killed. Without a scarf.
Yeah.
I think you're focusing on like the big cities, like for example, Erbil and Sulaimani, yeah, it's better, but then also think about the small Kurdish villages where early marriages and forced marriages are still happening. Arranged marriages, and so it's better for us maybe, but not women all over Kurdistan, maybe like...
What about the rest?
It's better than 20, 30 years
It is better, but it's not, it's still an issue. It's a big
of
But I think it's in political perspective, they didn't...
No mansplaining.
Okay.
That's the ladies. Don't make me get Dr. Choman.
Oh, okay.
We have a feminist professor here, so if they misbehave, I'm going to call her in. But what about in the rest of Iraq? So we could say some things about Kurdistan, but what about like in other parts of Iraq?
It's worse.
Huh?
Worse than before.
It's worse than before.
We have our friends there who lives inside Kurdistan, but they're from outside Kurdistan and they're living in a really bad situation. But it's like personal.
They even can't say their opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tell us that it's not allowed to even like say their opinions, and that's the stupidest thing that I say. Yeah. Yeah, they even can't choose their clothes. That's stupid stuff that they are not allowed to.
So they can't choose
And most of the people who wear hijabs, they don't wear it because they wanted to. They wear it because of their families or their religion. So it's not based on their choices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a new. Is that a relatively new phenomena in the rest of Iraq? In other words, is this a post-Saddam situation, or?
Maybe Anwar might be, or Marna?
I don't know actually. I think it just depends on the family you're from. Because like my family never forced me to, for example, wear the hijab, and today I have friends from families who force them to do so, and it's like Saddam is gone and there's no dictatorship, but these things still happen.
But has it improved or got worse? Are people more, like Anwar, you were in Baghdad.
Yeah.
Have people become more conservative or less conservative?
No, I would say they got more conservative because in like because Saddam was secularist, regardless of anything else. Saddam was secularist. Even though in 1990s they were, because of sanctions, they were poverty and people get a bit conservative. But right after the civil war, it was like being religious is the theme, you know. And when something becomes the theme, everybody gets so. But I would say in terms of women's rights, I would say it get worse because the women say like they got some members of parliament, but I don't think this is how you value women's rights. Women I like men. They want security. They want to live in peace. They want jobs, and I don't think like living in, because they gained some female member of parliament, but they still live in civil war. Like when their families, when a woman is housewife, when their families go to work or university or something, they don't even know if they're gonna come back or no. I think this is more important than having female member of parliament.
Anyone else have any comments about that? Do you feel more free or less free? Well, some people were telling me that this was the only place they could wear their high heel shoes. Is that true?
Yeah, maybe for some.
For some?
Yeah, out of Kurdistan originally.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
So the university is the only place to wear high heels?
Yeah.
Are there other I mean, I you know, for people, you know, people can obviously look up the history of this university. My understanding, it was started about 15 years ago or less.
How many years now?
2006.
2006. And are there comparable universities? And maybe as like just sort of an addendum, and I'm trying to roll in some questions that some folks on Twitter asked me. Give us a sense of what you think of America from I guess, just broadly speaking. I mean, I have a sense a little bit that you perceive us as liberators on some level, but beyond that, in terms of like our role in the region too, please.
Yeah, I think that the power of the United States in globally will increase, and we do not see anymore a world that the United States can play the world police, the police of the world, and maybe Iraq is the best example to explain that. After the American invasion, the Iranians became more dominant in Iraq. Basically, and some of them say that the United States played the Air Force for the Iranians. They took the ground and basically they used the US Air Force. And I think in other cases, especially in the Middle East, they focused on military strategy to succeed, but they failed because they could not understand the ground and the societies.
Yeah.
About the university?
Well, about the university, or what do you think about America more generally, Europeans? So Ahmed Youssef basically thinks that the Americans kind of like, they did all the bombing, but they didn't understand the culture. What do you think?
About the university, actually, it's not logic to compare between our university and the public university. I'm not insulting the public university, but because we are here, it's the best university we can say in Iraq. Because in this university you can present your ideas, your ideology without insulting others, and you have more freedom, and the teachers, the professors are more friendly with the students. That are the difference between from this university and other universities.
Did anyone go to a public university before this?
Yes.
How was it? Were you in Baghdad?
Yeah. I went to a public university in Baghdad, in Iran University, for 2 years, and also you can't compare. Like this is totally different story. American style of education compared to, especially public university in Baghdad, is a totally different story.
So explain a little bit more about the difference. What was it like to be at the Baghdad University?
Yeah, like in terms of the style of education, it was totally different. Like even when people come here, they find it difficult to adapt to this style of education. The same with all of them. I think the most important thing, the students, universities are controlled by some local militias or some which are they are followed by political parties. So the culture is totally different. Universities just reflect the local culture. If the local culture is the same, maybe the same students are members of militias, so of course they do separation of their militias. So that's why we have some universities like you can say it's not easy to say, but you can say some universities are like controlled by Shia and some universities controlled by Sunni.
Relative to those other universities, I mean, to the extent that you've had experience, do you find there's more of focus on more or less focus on America? Someone asked me if you get an American-centric worldview or taught an American-centric worldview there.
Yes, definitely. We have the American history taught by Dr. Jim, and we know more about the American history, the American hero, the American culture, and the system provides an American worldview, and we don't have much link to our local societies. The project that we have, the essays that we write, is more about outside, about world, rather than about inside and local societies.
I taught you Middle East history.
We have information and knowledge about American from the Columbus until now. And we like the liberal arts style teaching, because when you graduate from the American university, you have information and knowledge about other aspects, excluding your department. But in the public university, we have a concrete curriculum for every student. So they don't have information out of the department, but we have information from the life science, from the civilization. Otherwise, you are not in the social science department.
I think your students confuse American-centric worldview as to like liberal arts education.
Yeah.
So here you receive a liberal arts education where you're allowed the freedom to think critically, to discuss about topics that aren't necessarily related to local, politics, but more broader.
Although me and Ahmed Yusuf we've had this discussion before. Ahmed Yusuf once more.
I have another example, for example. We have a course, Research Methods in History. And I have a project about the economic crisis in the Kurdistan region. But the book is only about the United States. All examples in the book is about the United States. So we don't have books in English about Kurdistan, about our society, more research about our society to be able to read and add it to it, contribute to this research.
Interesting.
I think we don't have such American-centric view of the world here, because even the American professors who teach they happen to be leftists, so they share the same ideas with this, so they don't think of American experientialism or something. But the first years, I think when this AIS was first established by maybe conservative or newcomers, but now. The left took over and they don't care about America anymore.
Yeah, that's what we do. We always take over the universities, apparently.
It's the only place we can take over. So, what about you guys? What do you think? Do you think there's too much America at the university? Not enough America? Do you like America? I always ask this question, do you like America? And well, recently the answer I've been getting, everybody likes Vladimir Putin more these days, right? This is good. What do you think, Linda?
I like the idea of American thingy that we all see as a huge thing in Iraq, in Middle Eastern societies, because as you see, when America came and killed Saddam Hussein, all the people at the first time they thought it's because of the Iraqi citizens' benefit, but later on people were open-minded and we had internet and media, so we all knew that it was not of the benefits of Iraqi citizens, it was of the sake of the oil, not for us. That's true. We got rid of Saddam Hussein. That's really true. And all of our families were like the elders were like suffering from him because each of the Kurdish and even Arabic families had a person, lost a person because of him. But later on, we've all understood that it was of the sake of the oil.
What about American culture though? Do you like American culture?
Yes.
You know, like, so there's American politics, but what about American culture?
No.
I know Hashir's a fan of Bob's Burgers. Yeah? Yeah?
Well, I don't want to pull out my Hugo voice, but
My favorite is Tina, though.
Well, your favorite's Tina.
yeah, Tina's everybody's favorite.
But I think there's no free lunch. That's politics. That you come from to the one of the country and you have to get benefit because United States spend billions of dollars to invade, or we can say to invade Iraq. But it's a politics. You have.
Let me when you say it's about the oil, give me your sense as to why you say that's the case.
Because when the majority of people thinks like when you have oil you will have a prosperous society, country, you will have more freedom, you will have more security. But when you are in the situation, when you are in a country where it has a lot of oil, you would understand that oil is not always the case. Oil is not always gets you to the right track. It usually, at least in our case, it leads us to the wrong side. Like America wants Kurdistan oil, which is true. And for the sake of the oil, they wanted to kill Saddam Hussein. Because if you study the psychology of Kurdish people, were easier to be convinced of the psychology of the politician, and even Kurdish people can easily be convinced.
You're gullible. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. But why do you think? What makes you say that America wanted the oil? You just think that's just logic?
No, because America has oil, but they're not using it right now.
They're using it.
Right now?
Yes, the production is 30 million. It's right now it's the biggest producer of oil in the world. We have studied oil,
especially in Texas.
Yes, they needed the oil, but they didn't come here to steal it. They came here to buy it.
That's true. That's true.
So that's okay.
And we would have just sold
I
it.
didn't say that they come to steal it, but to buy it.
But that's okay that if the American come to here and to buy the oil.
Yeah, but
I think
the problem is with the U.S. strategy for energy security. In all Middle East countries, except Iran, remember this, except Iran, we have the U.S. military bases. In all Middle East countries. So the United States is the source of more militarization in Middle East. But no actual and cultural connection between people in the Middle East, no understanding between these people. Just being the police, being the big brother.
Let me ask you another question. I know I got two more, Djene, if we have time.
That's fine, as long as you need.
I know you guys aren't geographically, this is not so much of an issue for you, but I wonder if you can give me a sense of, and it's been very lightly reported here, and Djene has given me a perspective on this, but I'm interested to hear it from you guys. Is there any broad concern or feelings about the Mosul Dam? Is this in your consciousness at all? the danger that is represented by? I mean, I know for you in Kurdistan, it's not necessarily the same issue, but I wonder if you have a sense that it's important in the country.
Yeah, of course, the Mosul Dam is important, but right now it's controlled by the Peshmerga forces. There's no threat on it, but I mean the major problem in terms of water for Iraq is not the dam of Mosul. It's the construction of many dams by the Turkish government, and yet no country is ready to defend Iraq and Kurdistan.
But I think the issue has been the news about the Mosul Dam might collapse.
No, they replied. They replied. The officials of Mosul, they replied
Twice.
to that. Yeah, and they said that was just a rumor.
Yeah,
there was no real threat on that.
I think like we as you, we just hear rumors. We don't know what's really going on. Like of course we don't trust the central government. So some people say it might collapse. Some people say no, it's just a rumor. This is overrated. We are just like you. We don't really know what's going on.
The reporting that we get here, it's not a big story, but the reporting we get here is that from an engineering perspective, there's a timer on it. That without constant upkeep, it becomes the dam is compromised, and there seems to be no big attempt to create an evacuation plan, or that there is that it's being taken seriously in Iraq. Again, I can't vouch for that reporting, but and it's not a big story, but it seems to be a story. It's interesting from what I hear you saying, to the extent that you hear it, that it's rumors that are dismissed.
What'd you say?
We have too much source of information in Iraq, but no reliable source of information. So they make some reports, but another media make another report. So there is more confusion of information rather than reliable information about this image.
Has there been a strengthening of institutions in Kurdistan? I mean, I imagine in Iraq this is not the case, but institutions where people invest their trust?
Now we don't have our parliament because some problem happened.
Well, this wasn't reported much in the West, but the Kurdistan parliament recently disappeared, and we haven't seen it since. And the president, what happened to the president?
Basically, he's at home.
One of the political party, KDP, did not allow the Speaker of Kurdistan Parliament to go to Hawler and do his job. So we don't have parliament now, but we will have.
But it's not a big deal. It's gonna be fixed soon. Like everywhere it's happened.
That's getting perspective.
And I think one of the main property of the politicians in the Middle East, they usually try to use external threats or some fake threats to justify their actions, to justify their crisis. For example, Mosul Dam, for example, ISIS, they usually try to use these threats to justify their actions in the Iraq.
But I think what Iraq is learning from the Americans is that to be corrupt in a smart way. For example, political parties started to establish their own media indirectly, put lots of money because they understood that media can be solution to many problems. Just change the mind of people, make false report and information and rule.
Okay, I have one more question. It's a two-parter, and I'm rolling in part of a question from one of our listeners, Jay. I'd like to know from each one of you what you plan to do, next, or in your future, and also I have to ask, are you able to stream Kanye's new album on Tidal?
Okay, well, Kashan, do you want to start?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
What you wanted to do afterwards? You know what your plan is afterwards, and can you stream Kanye West's new album? Do you like who likes Kanye West, by the way?
No, I don't know.
Who's Kanye?
Who's Kanye West? There we go. Okay.
First, I don't know.
You don't know how-
It's the question I got when I was in college. What are you going to do with your life when you're done?
Well, I just started. Like it's not planned. I just started to work, with some NGOs. What you mean? What my plan for my life, isn't it?
Yeah, after.
Especially for women's case in Kurdistan and overall, in the world, in the Middle East and the world, to be better than before, to live like men, not feminism is not to have more rights, but just to be equal with them, basically.
So how do you want to do that? What job do you want to do after work? Peshmerga?
Not for maybe for Peshmerga we could say for both boys and girls it works, but not for me. But maybe with a politician, I have planned to work as a member of PTK, work with them to.
Okay, so she wants to get into politics.
Yeah.
Linda?
I just want to work in an organization, and specifically goes to the families and talk to their males about females issue, because you may think that why we're talking about female a lot and their role in our society, but what we have been got through is it's not something that we can't describe for someone who hasn't been lived in Middle Eastern societies. But there's a lot of females who were killed because of the problem of because of honor, the name of honor, the word honor. So one of the things that I really want to do is I just want to talk with people in their own house, not publicly, because publicly males do not share their reality. Publicly, with all my respect to all, if you talk to them, to males, they won't tell you their reality. So maybe, hopefully, in their own house, without sharing it with other people, if I can convince even 10 families, even 50 families to change the way they think and change the way they behave or they treat their daughters, their sisters, their females, I would be really happy to do that job.
Outreach, yeah?
Well, this is very tough because I'm graduating this semester. It's a very tough question. But I'm going to be applying for graduate school soon. I'm applying for jobs right now. I do want to work first before getting into school.
What about journalism?
Yeah, so I'm applying for editor jobs mostly, something in PR maybe. I'm an intern in the communications right now, and it's made me very interested in that field, so hopefully do something.
And also the head of the school university newspaper as well. You've been doing good. Used to be.
You have to also qualify the first independent student newspaper in the country.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in Iraqi history. Asher?
I'm just gonna move away.
Just gonna move away.
No, I don't think I'm gonna stay at AYS. I'm probably gonna move either this summer or so back to Denmark. That's where I've been living since I was a child, and we don't want to live here anymore.
You don't want to live here anymore.
No, I'm gonna transfer to another university.
Don't forget the Kanye portion of the question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're able to stream. I'm
Yeah.
download online.
There you go. You've been downloading. But most people don't know who Kanye is, right?
I think that's a good thing for them.
After graduation, which is in 2 months, I'm planning to just apply for masters in the States.
In what subject?
Communications, hopefully.
Yes. I'm planning to finish my graduate school and become a professor and writer. Well, most importantly, a writer. And I want to challenge ideas of your left wing and like establish some right wing, like secular right wing, like some people like Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins. And I saw yesterday you criticized Sam Harris, so I want to write something, some arguments, like some secular version of right wing, if to say so.
Oh, about me, I will graduate next spring and I will study immediately about my master and PhD, especially in the United States, either Washington or Boston. I haven't decided yet which one will be. And also I'm a member of the neuro-linguistic program, which is in the Canada about the human psychology. And also I'm a member of the Toastmaster. I think you really know about the public speaking. And I want to be a politician's public speaker for the futures.
Well, John, Gordon is actually a war hero. He came to my class with a bullet in his leg, shot by ISIS, still willing to do his quiz, right? Remember that, Gordon?
Yes, I do. I was on a wheelchair.
He was in a wheelchair and he did his. It was the best excuse I ever received as a professor. Very late, ISIS shot me in the leg. What are you planning to do later, Gordon?
I actually have no rigid plan. I usually act according to the current situation. I mean, if I have a chance, I really want to be a politician, but I prefer to be an international politician rather than a local one. I want to be a peace builder because I really love to fight people.
You love to fight?
Yes, I love to fight people, and that's why I want to promote peace.
Physically or physically fight people?
No, I mean mentally. Not physically. Yeah.
If all else fails, you can be a musician, maybe.
Yeah, that's plan B. That's plan B. I actually have that plan also, but since 2 years ago, I have decided not to be a musician. I mean, I want to have the oud with me. I want to play for my friends, but I don't want to be known as a musician.
Where can I just where were you fighting ISIS?
I was fighting ISIS in Kirkuk. I was a volunteer in Peshmerga.
Okay.
Yes, I was shot in the leg by ISIS in Said Khalaf village. That's around Kirkuk, southern Kirkuk.
Okay.
And last but not least, Ahmed Yusuf.
I want to go to Economic University of London to study political sociology, if possible. And in long future, I want to establish another Kurdish political party to change politics in this region.
It's very ambitious.
Yeah. Ahmed Yusuf has some big plans. He has big plans. So, that's everybody? Everybody said that thing? Yes. Well, I guess we will wrap it up unless you have any other final words for the guys.
I don't, and we got to get going a little bit on this end unless anybody has any more questions. But I want to thank you. This has been a great opportunity for me to talk to you folks, and I wish you the best of luck in what your future brings, and really appreciate the time to talk to you.
Well, Sam, I think on behalf of everybody, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with everybody here, and I hope we can do something like this again in the future. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sam Seder, and this is an Ann Coulter doll.
You should not be immigrating here. Stay in your country and hate us.
For smart progressive talk and a little bit of this and even a little bit of that.
Mission accomplished.
Subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook to get some of our best video clips.